So good morning, everybody. We're going to have a mindful morning today. We are going to do a lot of mindfulness exercises. So just to let you all know, get comfy. Make sure you are in a comfy place where you're ready to do that. You know, we're going to talk a lot though about the fact that we can do mindfulness almost anywhere at any time, and we don't have to be necessarily in a happy, comfy place. But for today, while we're learning, I'm just going to let you know we're going to do some exercises, and I want you all to be comfortable and ready for that. Okay, my name is Liz. I work for an organization called Young and Healthy. One of the ways that Young and Healthy is funded is through grants. We are funded completely with grants and personal donations. So one of the things that happens a lot when you are being funded by a grant is that you are required to provide information about what you're doing with that money. And one of the things that we're doing with grant money is providing the opportunity for me to offer these classes and sessions and this information to parents. And so I just put a virtual, that's my begging. Will you all please right now just log in to the virtual sign-in sheet that I put up in the chat message, and you will see also the course number is 3031. So I'm going to introduce Young and Healthy and talk about some of the services that we're able to provide with the money that we get from grants and personal donations. But while I do that, please take the second. It should not be very hard. All you have to do is log in. It asks you a few simple questions. So please do that. Young and Healthy is a 31-year-old health services organization in Pasadena. We have been providing healthcare services to children, providing direct healthcare services to children through all volunteer providers for the past 31 years. And we have every kind of provider that you can possibly imagine. And our kids go to their offices to be seen for whatever's ailing them, whether it be a toothache or allergies or the flu or something more serious. If they need glasses, then we send them to the provider that matches with their need. They get seen in the office. All of their needs are taken care of, and nobody gets a bill. Not Young and Healthy, and not the family. And it just gives me the chills to talk about it every time. And then for the last few years, because since the ACA and Obamacare came into being, we've been able to provide insurance enrollment and support to families if they need it. So that families can be matched with the insurance that works best for them so that they can be empowered to take care of their families and not worry, how am I going to get healthcare for my kids? And then we, of course, support families through that the entire way. The third thing that you're seeing up there on the screen is that we provide our trauma-informed care, mindfulness, and parent education program. We know that our emotional well-being is tightly woven in with our physical health outcomes. And so we know that supporting our community to be the best that they can be from that standpoint, to be able to provide information on parenting. And we're in the schools teaching kids about mindfulness. We're going to do a little mindfulness today. And so we know that really does help our community. We, just like all of you, are trying to figure this out. We may not be sitting in our offices at this point, but we are still working. And so if you need services, please do reach out to Young and Healthy. One of the newest grants that we have been able to provide to families is our TOMA program. Brand new. I don't even know that much about it. I'm learning a little bit every day. But what this grant does is it provides us with the opportunity to have volunteer tax preparers prepare taxes for families, prepare their tax return for families so that they can take advantage of the earned income tax credit. It's not a little bit of money either, right? Because we know that having that extra money or having that money in your pocket, it really does reduce stress. And when your stress is reduced, it increases our health. We can focus on our families. Like I said, it's not a little bit of money. It's almost $7,000. So if you're interested, you think you might qualify or you know someone, please do reach out to Young and Healthy or Day One, and we will help to get you started and get you in on that program. Okay, here we go. We're going to start with a mindfulness exercise today. Those of you who know me well know that this is usually the one that I end with, but we're going to start with this one today because we have a lot to go on. This is probably the simplest one that any of us can do that I know of. That's a regular practice. It's called 4-7-8 breathing. What we're going to do is we're going to breathe in through our nose, hold, and then exhale. And what's really important about this is that we remember the exhale has to be longer. If you forget 4-7-8, that's cool. Just remember your exhale needs to be longer because that's what brings down your heart rate. So I'm going to count this one out for us. We're going to go through it twice. Everybody, again, get comfy. I want you to feel the bottom under your bottom in the chair or the chair under your bottom. And now just take note of what you're feeling. Take note of what's your heart rate and breathing like? How are you just generally, how tense are you, right? Just no judgment, just take note. And now I want you to breathe in for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale through your mouth, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In through your nose, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now notice again, how are you feeling? If anybody wants to share, if they notice anything different, please put it in the chat or unmute yourself, it's fine too. Did you notice anything different? What are you feeling? You just did mindfulness. You just did a mindfulness practice. I don't know about you guys, but I get nervous. When I hear mindfulness, it makes me a little bit nervous. It makes me afraid of think that I have to, good, Virginia, relax. It makes me feel like I'm gonna have to sit for an hour quietly in meditation. And I'm not very good at that. I'll admit it right now. I am not a great meditator. It's very hard for me. And it's one of those things I need to practice so that my brain gets wired for it. However, I like doing exercises like breathing, like the 4-7-8 breathing. It works for me. And I think that these mindfulness exercises are going to really be even more necessary as we head into whatever's coming next, because we are going through another stage of big adjustment, aren't we? Like we are going through this stage of, we're heading back into in some in-person learning. Are we calling it a hybrid? We're calling it synchronous. I'm not even sure what we're calling it these days, but things are changing again. You're having to make decisions for your kid based on a lot of things that we don't know, right? The reopening, right, Virginia? We don't know what's happening. It's a big adjustment. I know that for me, even like deciding, am I going to go into a restaurant now that things are reopening, it causes me stress. It causes me to feel uneasy. I'd rather not, to be honest with you, not because I don't think it's safe, but because I don't feel comfortable. And I don't know exactly what that's about, but we're going through this really big adjustment. And our kids right now have a lot of unknowns. They have a lot of unknowns. They might, what are our kids worried about? They have academic concerns, I'm sure. I'm sure they're worried. Like, what am I going to be okay? Am I going to be able to do this again? It's been really great doing it at home, or maybe it's been really awful doing it at home and I can't wait to get back. We all have different feelings about it, but either way, it's a concern, right? Excitement can cause us to not be in our thinking, learning brain the way that we want to be. So even if we're excited about going back, right? Calming exercises, things that we can do to calm ourselves are going to be really important. Social concerns. Virginia says, I'm fully vaccinated, but not my kids. Life continues as if we were not vaccinated. Yeah, in my household too. That's how we're doing it. That's exactly how we're doing it. And so I understand, right? But our kids are worried about socially, the social concerns about going back to school in this hybrid version. If we have made the choice to keep our kids at home, they might be worried about, well, what does that mean? I can't be with my friends. And it might be hard for them to know that their friends are there and they're not there, right? They might feel a little bit left out. Or maybe the opposite is true. Maybe they're in school, their other friends aren't, and now they're sitting here worried, like, well, why is everybody not here? Am I doing is this the wrong thing for me to be doing, right? And they've missed a whole year of socially interacting with their peers, which means it's a whole year of their social development that they've kind of missed. It's kind of changed things. So they might be really uncomfortable about the social aspects. And we know for our kids, the social aspects are equally, if not even more important than their academic concerns. They might be wondering, what will it be like, right? Do I have to wear my mask all day? Will my teacher be wearing their mask all day? Will I have to stay far apart? Where will we eat? Will we be there for lunch? What will happen at recess, right? What will it be like? And many of us can't answer those questions because we don't know yet. What do I do? How do I behave, right? How do I handle this? What if somebody takes off their mask and it makes me uncomfortable? Or what if somebody touches me and it makes me uncomfortable? What do I do? How do I handle that? How do I behave? So these are just some. I would imagine if we decided to kind of brainstorm and whiteboard this, that we could sit here for a long time coming up with concerns and questions that families have and that kids have. And they're all valid concerns. But remember, we're going to do this one more time. Our brains don't like this. And I want to just remind you of this today, because we might start to see a rise in some of the behaviors, some of the things that were happening maybe back at the beginning of the pandemic. We might start to see some of those feelings coming back now as we entered into this phase of reopening, right? That loss of control, that lack of routine. Our routine's going to change again. Maybe you just got it all worked out so that your kid showers and brushes their teeth every day, right? And now we're going back to another schedule, right? So that lack of routine leads us to that feeling of unsafe. I'm just not comfortable, right? And we know what happens when our brain senses that we are not safe. It kind of shuts down. Maybe, again, you might be entering into another time where your sleep's going to get weird again. You might have noticed the nightmares or the dreams, the crazy dreams coming back. Maybe you won't be able to remember stuff or get as much done or pay attention or maybe you have a short temper, right? We know there's a whole lot of other things that might start to rise again. I just want you to be aware of it, right? I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm not trying to use threat-based language. I'm just trying to or messaging. I just want you to know that this might be coming, and so we can prepare for it. Because our brain is going to still try to work to keep us safe. And we have to remember that it's a physical response. Our brain is physically shutting down in order, or getting tight into our midbrain, limiting our access to our thinking, learning brain so that we can feel safe, right? And we have that physical response. You might feel, like I just said, right? The things that I mentioned when we started that first mindfulness exercise. Maybe your muscles are really tense. Maybe you're noticing your heart's going a little fast, or your breathing's heavy, or you get that tummy ache, right? Those butterflies in your tummy. That is part of what's happening when your brain is signaling things are weird and I don't like it, right? It's almost like your internet is shut down or you have a spotty internet connection. It's really hard to understand what somebody's saying when you can only hear every fifth word, isn't it? So these big feelings that are coming can be overwhelming. And it doesn't matter why they're coming, right? We can't control why they're coming. We can't control how schools are going to reopen. We can't control how things in the world are going to start reopening and how that's going to start to change and affect our lives. Maybe you're sad about it reopening. Maybe you're like, no, I kind of like my bubble. I like being in my bubble. I sometimes feel that way. Like, no, I kind of like my bubble. I don't know that I want to go back out into the world, right? Maybe that's how you're feeling. Whatever it is, it's the feelings that we want to get connected to, and we want to try to put the why away. And one of the things that we can do, a mindfulness exercise that we can do when we get caught up in some of those thoughts that we want to get rid of, maybe we need to focus on something, but our there's a thought, there's a worry, an anxiety, a stressor that's kind of taken over our brain, and we need to let go of it. Okay. This can be a great exercise to use in those moments. Or maybe if you just want to establish a more positive attitude. Okay, I want you to just kind of think. Let your thoughts float up above your head like clouds. Let your thoughts, whatever your thoughts might be, let them kind of float up above your head like clouds. And now I want you to breathe in through your nose fully. Take a deep breath for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale fully through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want you to imagine those thoughts that I had you have, like make into clouds. Grab the one you want to get rid of. Grab it. Hold on to it. Now inhale that thought through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now blow it away. Exhale. Big, big exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blow that thought away. So the visualization of getting rid of the thought can be a very powerful image. Also that you're getting the breathing, which slows your heart rate. So this is another great, and this is a mindfulness exercise, right? We're not sitting, we're not meditating, but we are doing mindfulness, okay? If anybody has any thoughts, questions, comments, please either raise a hand or put something in the chat. And I neglected to say that earlier. Virginia likes this one because I can't see, well, I can't see all of you, most of you don't have your cameras on anyway, which is fine, but I can't see you. So please let me know if you have a question. Yeah, I like this one too, Virginia, because I get caught, I have a tendency to perseverate. I have a tendency to get caught in a thought and I need to just let it go because it consumes me and it gets in my way of concentrating on things. So I like this exercise a lot too. During this period of transition, the other thing that I'm going to really encourage you to do is to give yourself a break and remember that your brain is doing hard things. Our brains, when we are trying to learn something new, or when we are trying to adjust and try to find a place, a way that we feel safe, is very, very busy. And it takes longer for us to do things. And we're going to be more tired. And we're going to need more, we're going to need to pay attention to our nutrition and get a little bit of exercise because our brain is doing very hard things. Yeah, Virginia and I will be doing that exercise a lot, is what I'm guessing. Virginia says, I'm going to do this exercise many times to let go of bad feelings. Yeah, me too. I'm with you, Virginia and I will be doing this because it's hard. And there are a lot of times that we're going to have hard feelings. Life is a continuous process of adjustment, and we are heading into a really big adjustment. And sometimes it might just feel like this is too much. Sometimes, and that's okay. But when we feel that way, you guys know I love this quote, absurd times call for absurd amounts of love. And we just need to slather on copious amounts of love and empathy in all of the situations that we encounter for everyone, because we're all going through this. So on that note, I want to do this mindfulness exercise, which is called Wishes for the World, because we want to wish good to the world, right? To everyone, we want to wish good. And this is one of those exercises that not only can help to calm you, but it really does refocus us on being other-centered, right? Making sure we're aware of others are having the same feelings and thoughts. And it kind of gets us out of our own bubble. All right, so the first thing, big deep breath. Exhale. Now I want you to pretend to make a giant ball that holds all of our friendly wishes for the world. We're not going to take too much time because I have a lot of exercises this morning, but not too big of a ball. Just put two or three friendly wishes into this ball. If it helps you, you can kind of make a ball with your arms or with your hands. So I'm going to give you a second to come up with 2 friendly wishes for the world that you're going to put inside your ball. And now I'm going to ask you to toss that ball up into the sky, whatever ball you made, whether it's with your arms or with your hands. And as you toss it into the sky, I want you to imagine that it carries those friendly wishes to everyone, everywhere. Maybe there's someone in particular you want to feel and find these friendly wishes today. Think of that person for a moment. Maybe there's a certain place you want your friendly wishes to land. Think about that for a moment. Now take another big, deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Big exhale. And there. So that's wishes for the world. That comes from and I do have resource pages with you guys, for you guys today. So we'll get there. But I want to show you as we go along. Okay. Yeah, the resources. Sorry, I thought it was more organized. Mindful Game Activity Cards by Kaiser Greenland with Susan Kaiser Greenland with Annika Harris. It's a fun deck of cards. It just has different mindfulness activities. I like that, Virginia. Virginia says her wish for all children was for children all ages, all over the world, to be happy and healthy in mind and spirit. Okay, you guys are gonna get me crying by the end of this hour, I can tell you right now. Yes, that is my wish as well, Virginia, and that's a beautiful wish. And see how nice that is to focus on that. When we focus on happy things, when we focus on sending happy and good wishes, we're actually rewiring our brain. Mindfulness exercises like this wire our brain to think more this way, right? So we'll go more toward sending friendly wishes everywhere if we practice doing that. Those will be the neural pathways that'll be the most well established, which is why this is a great time for us to practice mindfulness. And when I say it's a great time to practice mindfulness, not only is this a time when we could really use a lot of mindfulness, but remember that we want to practice mindfulness in those times when things are calm. Don't wait to practice mindfulness until things are falling apart and then go, oh, I need to do a mindfulness exercise. Not that that won't help, but if you practice in the calm times, if you start your day, if you maybe do 2 or 3 practices a day, even if you just do one, that you will reap the benefits in much greater when you need them, because you've practiced them and your brain knows what to do. Okay. It's a little bit like batting practice, right? I'm not going to go out there and swing the bat at the baseball game at the ball and be really good at it in the heat of the moment if I haven't done my practice. So practicing mindfulness will help you have it prepared for the heat of the moment. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? So practice. That's why we call practice. You got to keep working on it. The other thing that we want, that mindfulness helps us to do, it helps us to learn what to do when we have really big feelings, right? And that is a prefrontal cortex skill. That is the part of the brain that is the most sophisticated. And that's also the part of the brain where we learn to practice self-regulation and self-control. So self-regulation is different than self-control. Self-regulation is that I recognize that I have these big feelings rising. I recognize that this is a hard situation and I need to use some tools so that I can regulate myself. I can be mindful. I can be responsive rather than reactive. That's self-regulation. Self-control is that we don't act on some of the feelings that we have physically, right? Or mentally, or we don't say those things that maybe we shouldn't have said. I get caught in that a lot. Right? But that's that self-control piece. Self-control is my brother just walked by and hit me and I don't hit him back, right? That's self-control. That's saying, hey, wait a minute, that wasn't the right thing to do and I'm not going to do that. That's self-control. But self-regulation and self-control are tightly woven skills that go together. And we need both. We need self-regulation in order to have self-control. Oh, Virginia says impossible. I'm going to say, no, it's not. We can do this. It might take more practice not to want to reach out and hit your brother back, but we can learn. We can get there. I guess the idea really would be not to get your brother to hit you in the first place, right? Or not let him, but we can talk about that. Because the idea here is that when you can't control what's happening, the only thing that you can control is the way you respond. And that's where we get our true power, right? That's where we really can learn something, is when we know when we control the way that we respond. And I like this little diagram here that says, the two circles intersecting. There are a lot of things that matter, and then there are the things that we can control. And where those things intersect is actually a very tiny piece. And the things that matter and that we can control, those are the things we should be focusing on. Right? The things that matter that we have no control over, worrying about those things, trying to fix or change some of those things, we can't control. It's fruitless, right? We're not going to be able to. It's an exercise that just will get us more steeped in anxiety, and so we want to worry about that. I like that. Virginia has all these signs. She's always using. Virginia says she's going to make a new sign for her kids' room. I can only imagine. She actually showed me a picture once. Remember this, Virginia, of the signs in your kitchen that you made in your dining area after we did a class. So I believe when Virginia says she's making a new sign, I believe her. All right, so the next exercise that I want to try, or the next thing I want to just ask is, when we are in that response, or that place where we have to exercise our self-control and our self-regulation, there are some questions we can ask ourselves. Is what I'm about to say kind? Right? So stop before you say it and filter it through these questions. Is what I'm about to say kind? I mean, if the answer is no, right, you shouldn't be saying it. Is what I am about to say helpful? Is what I am about to say true? Like, am I going to follow? That one comes along, I think, with parenting a lot, especially when we're about to maybe impose a consequence that we really don't want to enforce, right? So am I really going to ground you for the rest of your life? I should probably not say it then, right? Is what I'm about to say necessary? So if we can start to funnel or sift through things that we are saying through these 4 questions, I think we would all agree that we could probably have more positive interaction, right? It would help with our parenting because we wouldn't be, we wouldn't be losing it. That window of tolerance, we need to open it just a little bit more all the time. So I like these questions. I'm going to use them in conversations with my husband. So mindfulness can be, what is mindfulness exactly? And there's a lot of different things that are mindfulness. Spending time in nature, walking barefoot, cloud gazing, positive thinking, mindfulness, right? Planting, taking a bath, right? You can see there's a lot of things that are mindfulness. The definition of mindfulness is that you are paying attention in a particular way on purpose and not judgmentally. So it's not that you're paying attention to your feelings and then you're going, oh, that's just ridiculous. Why am I even thinking that? Or you get mad at yourself, right? Why am I feeling that way? This is stupid. Anybody else? I do that. And I'm sure every now and again, everybody kind of does that. You kind of judge your own feelings. But we're allowed to have our feelings. And when we recognize our feelings, there's a lot of power in that. There's a lot of empowerment in saying, this is how I'm feeling, and I need to address it and take care of it, right? I need to honor how I'm feeling. And mindfulness is a great way to do that. So here's another mindfulness exercise. For this one, if you can, please have your feet touching the floor. And again, I just want you to notice what's happening in your body. Sit with your back straight, maybe, if you can. Your body, relax your body. Maybe you need to tense up and release. Breathe naturally. Notice what's happening. Same way we did earlier. Just notice what's happening in your body and mind right now. I want you to do your best to keep your body relaxed. And now move your attention to the bottom of your feet. Notice how they feel against the ground. What's under your feet? You have socks on, shoes on? Are you feeling the rug or the hard floor beneath your feet? Just notice your attention. And as you just think about your feet, if other things start to creep in, let those things bubble up and go. It's okay. They can come, they can go. Let it happen. Are you feeling your feet right now? If not, it's okay. Don't worry. It's natural for our minds to matter. Just move your feet back, your attention back to the bottoms of your feet, and begin again. If we could, I would take more time and stretch this out and make this a little longer, but I want you all to just get a sample today of different activities that we can do, different things that we can do that are mindfulness. That one is also from the mindful games that I shared with you earlier. That's another one from this mindful games by Susan Kaiser Greenland and Annika Harris. I do not get royalties from Amazon, although I'm thinking I need to start negotiating for that because I advertise so much stuff for them. But yeah, I got them on Amazon. So mindfulness, there's a few different things. Let's explore a little bit what mindfulness is, right? When we talk about paying attention, what does that mean? It means listening and watching, considering what naturally exists, just looking and being aware of what's just here. Not the thoughts we've created, not the worry and anxiety that we've created by kind of projecting or predicting what's going to happen next, just paying attention to what's happening now. And that's in the present moment, right? So in that present moment, just right now, not worrying about what's happening later, not worrying about what happened yesterday. All I can do is right now, right? This moment. And on purpose, when we want to practice mindfulness, we want to take time to do this. We want to create intentional awareness of that we are paying attention in the moment, and we're doing it non-judgmentally, right? We're objective about our experience. Yeah, that's hard, or yeah, that's fun. Yes, I would say, Julia, letting go is considered being mindful. Absolutely. So Julia's question is letting go considered being mindful? And my answer is yes, right? That dissolve a thought exercise was kind of letting go, wasn't it? Right? That was a way to let go. Consciously say, I'm letting this go. That is definitely mindfulness. While acknowledging your feelings about it, right? It's okay. You could have feelings about whatever it is, but we're going to intentionally have awareness of what we're letting go of and not judge the fact how we feel about it, but acknowledge how we feel about it. You know, it's kind of a thin line, a blurred line, but yes. So mindfulness is observing your life as it is happening, right? My coworker earlier this morning was, we're finishing our mobile dental clinic, and she has been at the helm, leading the team this year in an unexpected way, not something she expected to have to do. And and she was talking about how tomorrow she's taking the day off. I said, tomorrow, that's great. I'm going to let you take the day. You know, I'm not like let you. I have nothing to do with it. But I said, I'm happy that you're taking the day off. That's great. And then she talked about how, well, I'm going to play with my grandkids. And I said, please observe, like be part of that. Your grandkids are only going to be 6 years old and a toddler once, right? So be observing our life, being really present in our life as it is happening. Virginia says it's not easy to be objective, and I agree. I think it's difficult to be objective because, you know, I have a lot of opinions and I have a lot of thoughts about other people, other things and other situations and how they should really be happening. So that is a struggle that I also share, that being objective. But we can practice being objective. And here's the thing about being objective. When we practice being objective intentionally, we'll get better at it. So I'm trying to. You're not alone. Accept your current situation without judgment or struggle. Allow your feelings to exist, but don't let them drive your actions, right? I can feel this way, but I shouldn't react the way I want to. That my thoughtfulness, taking that pause, thinking about it for a minute, that is what should drive my actions, not my emotions. Right? Is this helpful? Is this true? Is this something that really is kind? Those are things, that's what we need to filter. Notice thoughts as they arise without the need to buy into them. So we might have a thought, but we don't need to take the train, right? Here's a train ticket on this terrible thought that you might have. Don't get on that train, right? We're not going on that journey. We can just say the thought's here, but I'm not going to spend time on that right now. And then take action based on what you feel in your heart rather than old habits or short-term convenience. One of the things that I try to say to parents when we're working together, when we're meeting together, is that I am here as someone to offer thoughts, ideas, advice, if you will, right? Things that I have learned, what the research is, how we can, the best practices perhaps, but I'm not an expert on your particular family. You are the expert on your family. You're going to figure out how mindfulness works in your family and how you can, how you want to implement it. But it's going to look different for everyone. And you should go with your heart. I will tell you that most of, not all, but most of the mistakes that I made as a mom, that I went back later and said, why did I do that? I reflected on and thought, because I was trying to make someone else happy. I wasn't following what was in my heart and what I felt was right for my family. And that's when I kind of made mistakes. So yeah, don't follow your heart, right? Not that short-term convenience and not your old habits, right? Be intentional about what you're doing. That's mindfulness. Mindfulness will rewire your brain. Here's the other thing about mindfulness that will start to happen. If only there's a lot of research on this, and my dear friend Melissa Springstead has presented the research on the fact that when one person in the family practices mindfulness, the entire family benefits, even if they are not consciously practicing. So if you've got somebody who's a little bit of a skeptic in your family, maybe somebody you're parenting with or one of your kids is like, I'm not doing that. That's okay. If you practice, if only one person in your family practices, you will all reap the benefits. Obviously, everyone will reap the benefits a little bit more if everybody practices. That's the goal, right? But don't worry. The research supports the fact that only one person has to. And I've seen this at work. I have seen this happen in families. I will share with you one of my brother-in-law. Had to be one of those. He was a very high energy person, and we started to notice a calming in him and a calming kind of in their whole family. And one day he shared with me that he had started practicing mindfulness. And so I've seen it. Julia asks, how do you mix mindfulness with discipline for your children? Okay, so a couple different things. The first thing is that you have to practice in those moments, right? Practice in the moments where things are calm. And then the second thing is the real benefit to disciplining our kids and combining mindfulness is if you choose to be mindful, if you choose to stop and not react or not work what the last slide said, right? It said, don't go for short-term convenience or old habits. Filter it, like use mindfulness to filter what you're about to say, what you're about to do. You will be calmer, your children will be calmer, you will be more thoughtful, right, in your decisions on discipline. The other thing, there's a great video. Gosh, okay, I think maybe Young and Healthy shared it on their Instagram of a little boy, mom and dad, right? They practice mindfulness in their family. And a little boy, like he had to be 4 or 5, was with his 2-year-old brother who was starting to get worked up. You know, you could tell that big, huge cry was about to come. And the little boy looked at his brother and said, okay, we can breathe. Let's breathe. Let's calm down. So those are some ways that you can mix mindfulness with discipline for your children. There are generally the benefit to mixing the mindfulness and the discipline is that you everything kind of comes down and be a little bit more calmer and you're a little more intentional. What you don't want to do is make a mindfulness exercise a consequence. right? What you can say is, I need a minute to think about this. Let's talk well, we'll talk in a couple minutes, or we'll talk a little bit later. I'm going to go do some breathing so that I can really clear my head and think about this. That's modeling, right? So that's another way that you can mix mindfulness with discipline. Does that answer? Hopefully, Julia, that gives you some ideas about that. Okay, good. My husband and I, Virginia says, my husband and I are great believers of mindful behaviors. However, I have a 6th grader. Yeah. And 6th graders think that parents don't know much, right? So keep practicing, keep modeling the practice, and incorporate different practices in a way that he won't notice. You know what I mean? Like, you can start doing that. Asking about what they're feeling, doing that morning check-in that I talk about all the time. How are you doing today? Where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10, or on the thermometer that I frequently use, right? That's a mindfulness exercise. That's getting them in tune with the self-regulation piece that they need, because if they can recognize how they feel, and then you can say, so what do you need to get to feel a little bit better? What can you do, right? That's a mindful behavior. So in the meantime, keep practicing, but I wouldn't try to like serve it up to him on a silver platter. Kind of use it around the way, because you know what's going to happen with a 6th grader. If we say, with most 6th graders, if we say, I want you to do this, whether they want to or not, they're instantly going to say no, right? A lot of times. Kind of tough. It's developmentally appropriate, so don't worry about that. And again, we already said practice in the calm times, right? Practice during those calm moments when things are calm. Take that moment to enjoy the calm, and to be in touch with the calm, so that you're building the calm neural pathways. It really does rewire your brain in that way. Here's that morning check-in that I mentioned a few minutes ago. How are you feeling today? This is a mindfulness exercise, right? So you can do this with your kids. How are you feeling today? Just give me a name, give me a word. Maybe you just want to say, give me a word, right? That's mindfulness. Just identifying how you feel. That's the beginning of mindfulness. So right now, I would just like all of you, if you feel comfortable, type in the chat. How are you feeling today? When you woke up this morning, where were you feeling? Or maybe now, right this minute. Where are you feeling? Are you great? Are you okay? Are you meh? Are you struggling? Do you have another word that like expresses it more accurately? But share with us. Yeah. Virginia feels great. Well, I feel great because you're here too. I will say. I would say today I'm on the great side. I'm on the great side of that scale. And it's okay if you're not. A couple of days ago, I woke up. Oh my gosh, I was so grumpy. My husband put on my mindful music that I like that calms me down without even asking me if I wanted it, because I think he knew he just needed to help in that way. I was pretty grouchy, right? So it happens. We all wake up that way, and you can start your mindfulness practice before you even get out of bed, and it doesn't have to be elaborate, right? I talk about this. Just breathe. Just first of all, excuse me, let me back up. The first thing I'm going to say is, we usually all jump out of bed, right? It's time to, it's time to get out of bed. We jump out of bed. The alarm goes off. We jump out of bed, and we are going full steam without putting any thought into it, right? And I know I can be that way. If possible, if you wake up to an alarm, set your alarm just 2 minutes earlier. Just 2. I would love it if I could get 5 out of you, but I know I'm trying to be realistic. Just give me 2 minutes. Set your alarm 2 minutes earlier and practice one of these things. Just lay there and breathe for 2 minutes. Be conscious of your breathing. Be aware of your body. Relax yourself, right? Taste a smile on your face, whether you're feeling it or not, because smiling tells your brain you are happy, and it increases the happy factor in your brain. It releases happy hormones. Even if you're not feeling it, smile and you will start to feel happier. I mentioned that I have a playlist that I love, that my mindful playlist, and I play that almost every morning. And just having it in the background is very calming to me as I'm going about my morning routine, right? Breakfast, coffee, shower, that kind of thing. And I do notice that if I don't have my mindful music on in the morning, the playlist that works for me, I start to feel a little bit out of whack. I feel a little bit like it's escalated. And so if I'll think, what am I missing? My music. And then I'll put on that playlist in the background, and it calms me. I find it soothing. I already said slow down. Just intentionally slow down. The other day, I was rushing to get out the door because I had where was I going? I can't remember. But I had to go somewhere out of the house. And being out of the house was a little, it's, I'm not as used to it. I'm on that routine of leaving the house. So I was rushing around because I was afraid I was going to be late. And I kept dropping things and I kept forgetting things that I had to go back and get again. So being in a rush was not helping me to be mindful. And it was actually slowing my process of getting out of the house down because I wasn't being intentional about what I was doing. I was just rushing around. I wasn't really being thoughtful. So that slow down, right? We all do this. Water, we need twice as much water. Oh, that's sweet. We need twice as much water when we are learning something new as we normally do. And right now, we are all learning new things every minute of every day. We're figuring this out. And when I say learning new things, I don't mean that we're sitting there with a book learning algebra or physics. I mean that we're responding to our environment. That is learning, right? Knowing how to, and because things are changing, we're relearning things. Drink extra water. I want to just read, Julia says, I was stressed to get on your meeting on time. Your breathing tips helped me settle down. Good. Yay. That makes me happy. Hey, and also I was stressed to get on this meeting on time too. I think it's okay. We all do. We're all here. We're all here and we're happy that you're here. Thank you for joining us, Julia. It means a lot to me. Virginia says that she and her husband enjoy coffee alone together before the kids get up. Very nice. Usually he makes a fire and calls me. I love this moment. That's very sweet. Yeah, very intentional behavior leads to mindfulness, right? That's what you're doing. You're making a choice. I've been working hard lately at setting those boundaries, right? No, this is my time with my husband. And even though we're at home together all day long working, we're not interacting, we're not connecting. So I'm very intentional about setting those blocks of time, right? Time together as a family, time together as a couple, time together, time alone. Set those blocks of time that you need so that you can be mindful in that. And then the last thing on here is gratitude. When we pay attention to the things that we are thankful for, it leads us to a more grateful attitude in general. There's a lot of tools that you can use for gratitude. I have a gratitude jar at my house. My kids and my husband, whoever's in my house, actually, if we have a guest, which we don't have many lately, but I ask them, put something in the jar, right? I have little cards and pens next to the jar. Write down something that you're thankful for and drop it in. At some point, my husband and I, my family will probably get together and we'll dump all those out and read. And what another nice way to connect and to focus on gratitude. But there's gratitude journals. This one, 2-minute mornings. I don't know if you can see it. It's a very short journal. And all it has is 3 sections. It says, I will let go of. There you go, Julia, right? This is what I'm going to let go of today. I'm grateful for. That's the biggest box in the middle, so that you can focus on gratitude. And then that slow down piece, I will focus on. And there are only three numbers here. So if you want to do this as your to-do list, or if you want to do this as a practice, something that you want to focus on, I want to focus on being grateful, being calm, or maybe I will focus on getting that big project for work done, right? But this thought forces us, having only 3 lines, forces us to slow down and be intentional about what we're going to focus on, right? So that our day starts this way. I really like this one. Okay. We're almost out of time, aren't we? Mantras are phrases that we repeat to ourselves throughout the day. And 2 mantras that we can say to ourselves, especially during this time, is may I be well and may I be happy. So right now, I just want you to take a moment, put your hands over your heart, if you will, and either say out loud would be preferable, or say it to yourself if that's how you feel most comfortable, depending on where you are right now. And just say to yourself, I want you to repeat it twice. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be happy. I like that one, right? It slows things down, calms you down. This one comes from a book, another set of cards that got pushed under my desk. Sorry. These are called mindfulness cards, simple practices for everyday life. Another really great resource. Just pull a card and do the practice. And there's 4 different categories in there, 2 of which have obviously spilled somewhere. Okay. These are some other things that I talk about a lot that we can do that really that will help us to be more mindful. I want to just focus on social connections can be a mindfulness experience, right? Having coffee with your husband, mindfulness can be a mindfulness experience. Mostly, I just want to say, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. We're all learning hard and new things. And again, mindfulness is not necessarily meditation. There are lots of different things that can be mindfulness practices. Washing dishes, I don't understand how that's mindful, but I do know that it can be mindful for some people. I've heard people say to me, I like washing the dishes. It gives me a moment to be mindful. That's great. It's not my mindfulness, but I will say I like the folding laundry. Folding laundry can be mindful for me. Just different things work for different people. Outdoor mindfulness, taking a walk, blowing bubbles. This is how, Virginia, you can incorporate your 6th grader into mindfulness activities without him really knowing he's doing mindfulness, right? Organize a family scavenger hunt. Do something along those lines. Go for a walk. Ask him, hey, what do those clouds look like floating by? Oh, I see a snowman. What do you see? Like, that's a mindfulness experience. And then here are some other suggestions of things that you can do when you're sad or worried or need to focus, right? I can ask someone to do a chore. Being a helper supports mindfulness. All right, a grounding exercise. Let's do this grounding exercise. We're almost there, guys. We're almost to 11. So I want to be mindful of the time, and I want to honor your time. So I want to try to end by 11, but I will stay on. I have time afterwards for questions if anybody wants to stay on. Okay, so the first thing, this grounding exercise, again, just get comfy, look around you in the room, and I just want you to notice the five things that are around you. Just notice 5 things around you. You can say them out loud. Sometimes when we do this with young ones, they need to actually touch the 5 things, and that's okay. 4 things that you can touch. 4 things that you would look around and notice, oh, I know what that would feel like if I went over and touched it. They have a texture. 3 things that you can hear. Right now I can hear the whirring of my computer. No barking dogs today. 2 things that you can smell. Maybe you have a candle, maybe you have coffee, maybe, maybe your kids. I love what kids smell sometimes. And 1 thing that you can taste. Think about 1 thing that brings you pleasure, that you really like, that you can taste. Or if you have something there that you want to taste. I love icy cold water for this. Icy cold water actually speaks to our amygdala. It calms our midbrain when we drink water. So offering our child water in a time of great escalation can really be helpful in starting to calm the situation down. Or drinking water ourselves. The idea here with this mindfulness is that you figure out what works for you and that you do it, right? You have to do it. But it's different for everyone. That's why there are so many different things out there that we can access. 3 apps that I think are pretty cool. 1 is Calm. 1 is called Breathwork, which has a visual, right? While you're doing it, that one has more of a visualization. Breathe in through your nose into your belly, and that inhale, that circle in the middle will get bigger as you do it. So it gives you a visual to follow, which is very helpful for staying mindful. And then there's Headspace, which you all know now is on Netflix. So you can binge watch mindfulness. But what's also really cool is a lot of celebrities are getting in on this act. And so Headspace has hosted a lot of different celebrities who lead the practice, the mindfulness practices. And I believe Calm has been doing the same thing. The resource cards that I mentioned, These are all they're available on Amazon, except the Little Renegades in the middle. You have to go to their particular website. But the Little Renegades cards are for really young kids, 3 years old and up, which, you can even go lower. But they're so beautiful. They're really artistic and very beautiful. So you've got mindfulness cards, as I mentioned, and the mindful games that I showed you. Maybe one of those exercises felt more comfortable to you that you'd like to reach out and try something. Some books for our kids, Breathe Like a Bear. We're going to do an exercise in a minute from Breathe Like a Bear. I love the exercises in Breathe Like a Bear for me. I use them for myself, even though they're meant for preschoolers, but that's my level. I'm okay. Breathing Makes It Easier is a really beautiful book that talks about breathing. Virginia, for teens, I would go for the cards. I would go more for the cards, especially this one, the mindful games and the mindful games. This one is geared for teens. So I like this one for teens specifically. Breathing Makes It Better talks about why breathing works in a very picture book kind of way. And then Good Morning, I Love You is more for adults or older kids, right? And probably you'll pull some of that mindfulness stuff out of it that you can incorporate and kind of adjust to use with your kids, with your family. So those are three of my faves right now. The Greater Good Science Center has a monthly calendar on their website. And if you click on the brightly colored words that are on the calendar, it will lead you to a practice. It will lead you to the research, okay? So that you can learn a little bit more and get a little bit more direction on that particular topic. They call it their happiness calendar. Every month they have a different theme. This month is Be Kind to Yourself and Others. So I thought that was a good one for what we're heading into right now, reopening. All right, we're gonna do this last mindfulness exercise. Hopefully, Gabby, you're okay, Gabby? Okay. All right, your favorite color. This one is called Your Favorite Color. And this one I took from Breathe Like a Bear. Sorry, I thought I had everything else stacked up and now you're having to look at my neck. Breathe Like a Bear. This one's from Breathe Like a Bear. And it's called Favorite Color. I was going to try to show it to you, but so get comfy. What is your favorite color? Is it blue, orange, purple, red? Maybe it's another color. What's your favorite color? Now imagine a little ball of your favorite color inside your body. Maybe it's where your heart is. Maybe it's in your belly. Just imagine this ball, a little ball of your favorite color somewhere inside your body. Now take a big breath in. And as you take that big breath in, imagine the ball getting bigger and bigger until it takes over your whole body. So big breath in through your nose. Big, big, big. And now as you exhale, imagine that everything around you is your favorite color. And it feels really warm and good. And lastly, take a big, long, slow breath in through your nose. Hold it. And now exhale, big exhale through your mouth. And that one comes from Breathe Like a Bear, Kira Wiley. Oh, this is what it looks like. Here's the page. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that fun? I know I'm really little on your screen, but there you go. Okay, Breathe Like a Bear. Love it. All right, as I said, that's it. That's what I've got for you. That's our mindfulness exercise today, our mindfulness lesson today. I will ask that you please do fill in that sign-in sheet, that virtual sign-in sheet. I'm going to put it in the chat one more time. And please, our course number was 30. Uh-oh, I forgot. I'll have to look it up. But right, does anybody else remember what it was?
Yes, it's 3031.
There you go. Thank you. 30, that's perfect. My rescue. So our course number is 3031. We are able to keep providing things like this for you when we get your feedback. Okay, I can't open it. Oh, that's been happening. Okay, Virginia, thank you for trying. I'll try again maybe in a little bit, but yeah, thank you for trying. I appreciate that. And let's see. Julia, this past year has been like being on survival mode. Thank you for reminding us to be mindful. Oftentimes we need a friendly reminder. These workshops do just that. Thank you. You're welcome, Julia. You're welcome. Thanks for being here. You know, it means a lot to me that you take your time to share this hour with us. It means a lot to me. And again, please take care of yourself. Anybody have any questions, Virginia? I don't know why you can't open it. But does anybody have any questions, other thoughts, comments, conversations? As I said, I have time. I know we're past the 11, so I understand. If you need to log off, I will not be offended. But if you have questions or thoughts or comments, please do let me know.